Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is Daniel Umstead, host of the RNG radio show. I got another great and exciting guest all the way from Ireland. So, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to introduce to you the one, the only Stephen Shortt with ETC Consultants. Stephen, how are you doing today?
Hi, Daniel. How are you? Good morning, good afternoon. It's silly o'clock where you are. It's lunchtime where I am, so I'm great.
Awesome. Well, hoping to fast forward my day, of course, to hop into lunchtime because the weekend is almost here. But I want to thank you so much for taking the time out to come and talk to me. So let's hop right into it, Stephen. Tell me about your business and why folks need to get in contact with you today.
So I have grown up in two family businesses. We ended up selling one of them right before the pandemic you may have heard about. That's rampaging through the world. So we sold one business which was exclusively international education. So we relied 100% on people traveling to Ireland to work with us. So we exited that business just before COVID. So the timing, obviously, we didn't know what was happening. We didn't know that this was a thing. If we did, we would have sold everything and put it into Bitcoin and then retired off and bought an island somewhere. So I've grown up in family businesses. My whole life has been around family businesses and the thinking behind. There isn't much difference really between the kitchen table and the boardroom table and how these dynamics play out. And I have lots of friends who have also grown up in family businesses with varying degrees of success. So I have a lot of personal interest in helping people to successfully plan their succession plans.
Okay. Awesome. Now, if somebody honestly wanted to check you out on social media or even online, where can they go for that information?
So the easiest thing is to find me on successfulsuccession.com. And there's a bit of information about a keynote I do there called Build a Killer Family Business Without Killing Your Family. And if you have any questions, if there's something I can help with, if you want to jump on a call and have a chat about where you are and what's going on with whether you're the current generation trying to engage the next generation, or if you're the next generation trying to convince the current generation that things have got to change, been there, done that, and I can hopefully help you out.
Okay, awesome. Now, and that tends to happen, pretty much all over the world. You either have the mom and dad, they're starting, what we call over here, mom and pop shops. And then, the kid is like, I really don't want to do that. But there's not even any type of interest as far as them either wanting to continue on with it or they want to do their own thing. And we're living in a world right now, especially with the COVID wonderful pandemic, things are starting to get more and more automated. So how can we get the generations aligned on where the business should be heading? I mean, I know that's kind of like a power struggle. Mom and dad has been integrating, wanting to do this, and now the kids and, eventually grandkids come along, they're like, I don't want to do that anymore. So how can that could be aligned where everybody's on the same table?
So there's a couple of things to bear in mind in this. And the one thing that I see more commonly than others is the reason the kids, the next generation, don't want to get involved in business is because we as entrepreneurs, we are constantly on. We have to be engaged for our customers. We have to motivate our staff. We have to get, even through the pandemic, we've got to be look, we're going to get through this. This is what we're going to do. We need to make some decisions now, but it's in the overall best interest of everybody, trying to keep everybody feeling some kind of security. But when we come home, that's when we vent. If we don't have an outlet to actually put this stuff on the table and to cathect and to just vent a little bit. So we generally do that at home. So when an entrepreneur, when the business owner, the mom and pop come home in the evening, all the kids hear is all of, am I allowed to swear on your podcast? Am I allowed to say bad words in your podcast? So
you're
I'm
good,
Irish,
man.
so it's the same thing.
No, you're good. You're good. I'll let you know. And for those watching and listening, if they checked out a couple of them, I'm pretty sure they're going to be like, oh my gosh, I got to put my kids in the other room because of this one. So have at it, Stephen, have at it.
So what I'm getting at is if the mom and pop are coming home and all they're saying is, fucking hell, this client is driving me crazy, or this staff member is really annoying me, or, oh, I'm so frustrated, or the pressure, and all they're doing is talking about the negativity of their business. Who wants to join that? Right. So if all the kids are hearing as they're growing up is all of the bad things, So it's usually only when the family members do kind of go, okay, well, I'll work for a summer with mom and dad or whatever, that they see actually there's some really cool stuff in here, and there's people, there's a bit of journey, there's a growing, there's areas that you can really play with, and you can really step up in leadership positions and things like that. So being able to, at the kitchen table at dinner, actually discuss some of the great things that happened, what the journey is like, why people are in this business, why they started this business, or why they chose this particular field to make their money. And there are, I think there's over 1,700 careers that exist in the world, and an entrepreneur can be involved in pretty much any one of them. Why pick this one? What was it that made it special for you, and why should that resonate with other people?
Okay, I love that. I love that. And you know, my son, just to give you a personal example of me, my son, I'm bringing him out more because I did join a brand new brokerage, which on a good thing and even greater thing. And he's starting to see it. You know, he's starting to see the real estate. He's starting to see the real estate world, and he's asking those questions. And you know, I really think it really just started from home. I know it's, you know, the generation business, but I really think it does, and agreeing with you 100%. It does start from home in regards to who's running the business. So yeah, if I continuously talk bad or down it, like, oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe this customer today, I wanted to wring her neck. Like my son knows, and I'm sorry to say this, my son knows that
now,
I
to
do
be
not
fair,
like.
we can still have those conversations, because there's no point in trying to hide the fact that there are some clients and some suppliers who we all should fire, but probably don't. So
right. Right. But my son definitely knows my day job. He's like, so dad, how many people did you fire today? Because that's what I do in recruiting. You know, I'm putting people out to work, but he holds on to that negative part of it. Like, so how many people got let go, or how many people quit their job? And, you know, looking at the other spectrum of that with the real estate that I do part-time, he's asking more questions. Well, dad, what does it mean about property tax? What does it mean about this? And of course, there's ugly side to every single business, but when you have that even keel balance, it definitely works out for everybody. Now, for the roles, so, you know, we talked about, or we definitely discussed as far as, you know, the good side and the bad side, and still having that discussion. What roles should be playing with the generation as they're, you know, looking to migrate into their business?
So a lot of this comes down to the personality types and how, so depending on how early the kids are getting involved. So I don't know how young your son is, you're saying you're bringing out with you, or whether he's...
Oh, he's 11. He'll be 12 in exactly 1 month.
Okay, so 12 years old. So he's probably not going to be taking over the empire in the next 5 years, for example. So really at this stage, you're still the entrepreneur. You're still building your business. You're still building your empire. But now is a really good time to start seeing where his interests lie. What kind of personality does he have? So is he an outgoing, extroverted, gregarious kind of person who likes the speaking to people, who likes the business development, who likes going out to the conferences and going on site? Or is he actually a process-driven individual who's really going to be good at making sure that all of the ducks are in a row, making sure that the paperwork is done, making sure that the process is being followed? Because then you can start to see, okay, well, my son and I, we have some things in common, but actually his strength is not my strength. So instead of trying to make my son join the family business, I can get my business and move it in a way that can join him where he's most successful. So having that idea at an early age, going, if he wants to get involved, this is where his strengths lie. This is what we need to do. This is what I need to do over the next 10 years. This is the direction I need to move it into. So it's a more stable side of things. It could be that you have a completely different looking business in 15 years that is much more focused on the support of the paperwork, support of the process, than the out and about and selling to people. So there's all kinds of things that we need to bear in mind based on the personality, based on the expectations, and our own understanding of where the market can grow and what the business is capable of doing.
I love that. I love that. And I'm hoping folks take that to home, because I know at times it's like, oh, I have no idea what my son or daughter could do, or even cousin, family member can do. And it's like, hey, focus on their strengths, focus on their personalities, because once you meet them at that level, everything's success. So I thank you so much for that.
It is much tougher for kind of under 16-year-olds because under 16-year-olds mentally, like they can't project themselves 5 years out. So if you ask a 12-year-old, where do you see yourself in 5 years time? I mean, that's almost half their lifetime. So that's like asking me, like, where do you see yourself at 90 years of age? It's like, damn, I can't project that far out. So really it's figuring out where their strengths lie, where their tendencies lie. And then, I mean, we do career guidance, we do personality profiling. So we have a little bit more of experience in working with that and helping people to figure out at an early age what their strengths are and what their interests are. So having that idea allows you to then look at where your company needs to be. I had a conversation with a friend recently about his family business, and he very gregarious, outgoing, business hunting kind of guy. His son, more process driven, probably not the gregarious, outgoing. Like he can grow to put himself out there and he can change, but his natural tendency is process driven, making sure that everything is sorted out. So we had a conversation about, okay, well, if in 10 years time you decide the son's going to join the business, that's the point when you say, okay, this is where the business needs to be in order for this personality, for my son's personality to shine. So what we need to do is take on a CEO for the next 10 years and say very specifically upfront, we're taking you on as a CEO, we're going to pay you a ton of money and you're going to get a massive parachute at the end of this, but you're going to bring the business from X to Y in 10 years. You're going to work, my son is going to work alongside you as the COO. So he's going to be absolutely involved in everything as it's growing, but you're going to get it to a point where he can then just maintain that. And then you can go off and you have a fantastic thing in your CV. So you can have an external person who does what you do, also helps to mentor the kid, also helps to get the son ready for taking over the business. But there's so many different things that you can do that are a fit for your culture and your mix of personalities and dynamics. So there's family businesses. I find these absolutely fascinating, and I love working with family members because there's always a passion when you're joining a family business. It's more than just a business. There is a bit of legacy. People want to put their blood, sweat, and tears into it, and when they feel it in their blood, it gets under your skin. You can't just let it go.
I love that. Now, on the other side, because and I love the pathway you even set up for my son. I can't wait to talk to him at his first day of school. Hey, kid, I got a plan for you. But for those who are, who have their kids who are pretty much in the adult range, maybe early 20s, mid 20s, and, the mom and dad or aunts and uncles have been running it for a while, but now they're ready to bring them in and pretty much let go of the reins. How would they go about doing that? Or, what role should be started off with them?
So generally, it's almost 100% always a bad idea to just take somebody in with no experience just because they're a family member and put them in at a senior level. Generally, it's a bad idea. Really, people need to learn they need to earn their chops. They need to actually have some skin in the game. So the best practice is one of two things. Either a family member comes in at a low level, at the level that they should be in, and they can get the mentoring, they can get the coaching, they can get maybe more training than some of the other people that are in the organization, but they have to earn their way up. They have to work their way up the ladder. Or they have to spend a minimum of 5 years working in another company that's a competing company, or not a competing company, but like a non-competing company, something that they're not going to be accused of stealing information or anything like that. But if you want to bring somebody in, let's say somebody is into marketing, they have to become a marketing manager or a senior marketing director or a VP of marketing or whatever it is at another equivalent size company before they can come in at that level. So they have to have earned their chops. So it's what I call either internal or external development. So you're either growing within the company and learning within the company, or you're learning outside the company and bringing that knowledge in. In an ideal world, you get both. You go away, work for a while, and then come back as low as you possibly can to work your way up.
Love that. And then, Stephen, where again can folks go online to find you at?
Yeah, so successfulsuccession.com. So I'm Stephen Shortt from Successful Succession. So there's lots of S's, and if you have, if you speak too quickly, like many Irish people do, it can trip you up. But Successful Succession, we help people to get the next generation of their business and their leaders aligned.
Love that. Love that. And one more question before I let you go. And I always love asking my guests this. What quote or piece of advice do you hold on to or keeps you motivated for the next day?
So I actually have a plaque. So I moved office recently, and it's in a box up here. It's a small plaque that I always keep on either on my desk or on my shelves, and it's a Michelangelo quote, which is "I'm always learning." And I think that's really important for an entrepreneur, that even when you kind of get to a certain level and you can go, okay, well, I know everything about this. In every situation, every environment, you can learn something. If you take something away from a conversation or a meeting or a random video or anything like that, there's always something that we can learn to improve who we are and where we are. And the other one that I really love is this notion of lift where you stand. Instead of saying, okay, I'm going to wait till I get to the top of that hill before I help people, help those that you can help around you, and then move on to the next bit. So I'm always learning and lift where you stand are two phrases that I really love.
I love that. I love that. I'm definitely the lifting, standing. I'm always learning because I'm looking to go back to school myself. But lift where you stand. I'm definitely taking that heart to as well. So, Stephen, well, I want to thank you for your time and speaking with me today. Definitely looking forward to having you back on the show, and of course, wishing you much success with successful. Oh, give me that website. See, I either need to be in Ireland.
Successful Succession.
Successful Succession. SuccessfulSuccession.com. So thank you again, Stephen. Really appreciate having you on the show.
Cool. Lovely to be here. Thank you very much for having me.